Now let's come to the today's question first. Today's question is define pressure group. What are their functions in a democracy and how they are different from the interest group? It is 250 words and 15 marker question. Before writing a question or before attempting a question, let me give you some general tips on for writing answers in the mains. So I can broadly divide these tips into two categories. One is how to decode a question and second is how to write a question. Generally, the students, when they see a question, they either get terrified what a question have came, or otherwise they will just write anything. So after understanding both of these categories, you will understand how to write a pretty good answer. In UPSC, you are going to get 20 questions in each GS paper, and it's very important to attempt all the 20. So your strategy should be such that you are able to write all the 20 questions within the given time limit. And you cannot write something rubbish for this answer. You have to write very good answer, or leave very good. You have to write a good answer in which you can get 50-55% around marks from your side in each question. Then only you would be able to clear this IAS examination. So let's come first over the decoding question. तो as we see the question, ठीक है, generally क्या है कि आपको half minute, you should dedicate your half minute to the decoding question, and the remaining time limit, that's let's take that you are writing and each answer in 9 minutes. We are taking an average. You have to write one answer in 9 minutes. So for decoding question in the initial stage, take 2 minutes. For writing, take 7 or 10 minutes. But your preparation should be such that during the examination for decoding question you only required half the minute. So how to decode a question? There is a question in front of you. You will write an answer. Your examiner is going to check you, or your abilities are going to be checked by the examiner on the basis of what you have written. So it's very important to understand what the examiner wants you to write. So generally what happens that the students will see only one word, it's pressure group, and they will write everything on the pressure group. But you have to understand in which way you should divide your answer, you should write your answer. So the first part, the first thing in decoding question is to understand the number, the parts that are given in one question. We have seen one question, it can be divided into different parts, and this is mainly done in the CSE exam. UPSC will always give you such questions where it will be going to be divided into different parts. Let's come to the question. It is saying define pressure group. This is one part. Now second part is what are their functions in a democracy. Now the third part is how they are different from the interest group. So these are the three parts that are in this given question. The second thing that you have to see is your time and word limit. So time, the word limit is 250 words, marker is 15 markers. So you require, your time limit should be not more than 9 minutes. On an average 9-10 minutes. The third most important things are your keywords. That in every part you will see, what are the keywords, because these keywords are going to show that how you are going to focus over your what is going to be your focus while writing answer. The first part says define. In define, it is asking you the meaning of pressure group. Clear? The second is they are asking you what. So in what you have to list what they are asking. They are asking what are their functions. So you are going to list their functions in a democracy. The third is how. Now how generally gives you, or you have to describe. So over here they are asking you how they are different. So they are actually asking you a comparison or a link between interest groups and the pressure groups. Now the fourth question, which all the majority of the students will miss, is the focus of the question. What is the focus of the question? Now let's read the question again. Define pressure groups. What are their functions in a democracy and how they are different from the interest group? So generally the students will think that the focus is pressure group, but they are wrong. Focus is pressure groups in a democracy. If you are missing the word democracy, then you are missing a lot in your answer. So democracy, because pressure groups are also going to be in the different things, that they are also going to be in the autocratic government, they are also going to be in a monarchical government, they are also going to be in the dictatorship government, they are going to be in the different types of the governments. But over here they are asking their functions in a democracy. Okay. So you have to write something with democracy also. Okay. Now let's come. So this was all about the decoding. In decoding, number one, you have to understand in how many parts the question is given. Number two, time and word limit. Third, that the keywords, the most important thing. And the fourth is your focus of the question. Now, once you have understood this, for decoding question, please try to read questions multiple times. Don't read just once and start attempting it. Read in the initial stated for 5-6 times, then during the exam read for 2 or 3 times. Then only you would be able, your subconscious mind will get trained over the period of time to do all this decoding in just 30 seconds. Now let's come to the second part, which is the most important, writing an answer. Without writing, you cannot tell the examiner that what are your abilities. Now generally students do the mistake that in the writing they will only focus over the content. I'll write the content, I'll write the best content, and the examiner will give me good marks. No, it's wrong. Content is only having 90% of the marks, that's true, but 10% marks is also given to the presentation and the structure. Now, what are the presentation and structuring? Let's come to number one, presentation. Presentation means how you are presenting your answer. How is your handwriting? Now, for this, you don't need a handwriting of a very good calligrapher. No, you just need a good handwriting, which could be read by everyone. The people should not face any trouble. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आपका RL लग रहा है, ठीक है, और आपका AE लग रहा है, कुछ भी लग रहा है, E आपका A लग रहा है, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. Your handwriting should be visible. Everyone should understand that what you are writing. So handwriting should be visible, a proper visible handwriting. Second most important thing is spacing. How you are giving spaces between two lines, between two words, how your lines are organized and everything. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि start किया north से और खत्म हो रहा है आंसर जाके south में. They should not be in the diagonal way. They should all be in the linear format, horizontal. They should be very clear presentation of your lines. And between every words, between every two words, there should be proper space. Between two lines, there should be proper space. Between two paragraphs, there should be proper space. If you will read some of the answers that I generally see, the students write in such a way, समझ में नहीं आता paragraph कहाँ start हुआ कहाँ खत्म हो गया. That presentation is very important. Now, third important thing in presentation is your cutting. Now, generally students do when they have to cut something, they will take the pen and they will just rub they will cut with the multiple lines. It looks very unclean, very dirty. It shows that you are not having control over your mind, because everyone does mistake. That was a mistake over which you are trying to hide something. So don't hide. Just cut it by 1 line or 2 line maximum. It should be clear. Everyone does mistake. We also do. You also do. So just cut it 1 or twice. Don't cut in such a way that it looks very dirty in the answer. So that's presentation. Now let's come to the structuring. Now, what is the structuring? Structuring is that how you are going to attempt, what is going to be your sequence of writing the answer. For example, over here we are having 3 parts. Define pressure groups, what are their functions and how they are different from the interest group. There could be 2 structures over here. That I first define the pressure group, then I write the functions, and then I give the differences. Or there could be another structure also, that first I describe what is pressure group, then I give the difference between the interest group and the pressure group, and then I give the functions and then a conclusion. So that depends on you, that how you are going to structure your answer. But structuring should broadly be in 3 things, that is your introduction, body and conclusion. That's going to be your basic content of the answer, which would be having 90% of the marks. Now, in introduction, generally you generally define the topic, or you give constitutional articles or something related to it. Okay. Or you can quote the preamble, you can quote the DPSP, you can quote the fundamental rights or the fundamental duties, anything like that, giving the relevance in the present day society. That could be a good introduction. Now body would be having your answer, define whatever the three parts are, you are going to write in the body only. In conclusion, you are going to summarize whatever you have given in the relevance of the today's country. So in conclusion, you can give some current data, you can give some significance of the topic or something like that. Since in this question they have already asked you the functions, they have already asked you the definition. So in introduction, it's best that you give the significance of the pressure groups in the democracy, or you can also quote them in the conclusion in any way. Okay. So this is general tips on your answer writing. Let's begin with our question. Okay. The first thing in the question is your define pressure groups. So first we are going to define the pressure groups. What are pressure groups? So definition is that pressure group, I've used PG as a synonym for as a signal for the pressure group. Now pressure group is a group of people. It is not one people, it is a group of people who are organized. Generally you will see a society mein people are unorganized. When you organize them, then they become a group. So they are organized actively for promoting and defending their common interest. Their common interest. Who are there? There means those people who have formed this group. ठीक है, वो अपना इंटरेस्ट के लिए एक ग्रुप बनाते हैं, ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं और फिर अपने उस इंटरेस्ट को प्रमोट और डिफेंड करते हैं. कैसे करते हैं? बाय ब्रिंगिंग चेंज इन द पब्लिक पॉलिसी. कैसे करेंगे? चेंज लेकर के किसमें? पब्लिक पॉलिसीज में, जो लॉज बना रही है सरकार, इंप्लीमेंट कर रही है उन सब में. बाय एक्सर्टिंग प्रेशर ऑन द गवर्नमेंट. ठीक है. Now how these pressure groups are different from election that political parties will also do all these work, but they also contest in the election. Pressure group do these work, but they do not contest in the election. Clear? Now they will influence the policy making and policy implementation through two ways, that is legal ways or your illegal ways. Legal ways means they will give the petition, they will go to the public debate, they will pressurize, and such things are the legal and legitimate methods. What are illegal methods? They will do strike, they will do violent activities. Like recently we have seen all these strikes, violent activities in the NRC. When this NRC was brought, or your Citizenship Amendment Bill CAB was brought, so there was a lot of strikes and violent activities in Delhi that we all seen. That is illegal and illegitimate method. What would be the legal and legitimate method? That they give petition, they go to the court, file a writ petition that government is trying to abridge our fundamental rights. That those all would be the legal methods. Now coming to the methods of the pressure group. The first method is electioneering. In electioneering, what they will do? They will generally place their persons in the public office. So earlier we have seen that they do not contest election, but they will indirectly try to do this. Not directly, but indirectly they will do. The best example over here is RSS. The RSS don't fight elections, as we all know. Then how they place their persons in public office? Through BJP. They will send their members to the BJP. Then the BJP members will fight election, and then they will come to the public offices. Second is lobbying. Lobbying means that the pressure groups will try to persuade the public officers to adopt and enforce policies favoring them. These are the policies, you make these policies in certain ways. Third is propagandizing. In this they are going to again influence the public opinion. In the second they were influencing public officers. In third they are influencing the public opinion. हमारा opinion क्या है? Generally you would have seen that during the Citizenship Amendment Bill, they were protesting, they were telling people to come for their interest. So that is influencing public opinion through different ways, through media, through debates, through different things. Now let us see some examples of the pressure group. In every field, in every space, we will see the examples of pressure groups. In business, you can see FICCI, you can also see ASSOCHAM. Now FICCI is Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industries. In trade, you are having AITUC. It is before independence organization. It was All India Trade Union Congress. In agrarian, you are having Bharatiya Kisan Union, All India Kisan Sabha, and others. In professional, like we lawyers are being associated with the Bar Council of India. In religious, you are having RSS and the others. So these are few few examples of the pressure groups. Now let us come to the difference of interest groups and pressure groups. Actually, this difference is not seen in India. In India, both more or less are the same thing. In USA, they vary, but in India, they do not vary. Generally. Now, first, we will see this diagram. So, generally, we can say that the pressure groups are a part of the interest groups. Now, how they are part of the interest groups? Let us understand. That interest groups, they will promote common interest. Common के अंदर they can put up anything. ठीक है, for an example, we are having some NGO who can work in any sphere, then that is an interest group. Pressure group is a organization which will specifically work for only the interest of the group. Like they will only do for the interest of the children, they will only work for the interest of the women, or they will only work for the interest of environment, like such. Like the PETA only works for the interest of the animals. So that is a the dedicated pressure group for the animals. Now let's come to some differences. Like in the purpose, interest group as already discussed that they are going for the common interest, and pressure groups, they are for specifically interested in political or policy issues. Second is organization. Interest groups are not formally organized, whereas pressure groups are strictly organized. Now third is tactics. So interest group generally use persuasive methods, petition, prayer, whereas pressure groups use both persuasive as well as pressure groups. तो वो persuade भी करेंगे, pressurize भी करेंगे. Pressurize करते हैं different way. They will say that we will not going to fund your party, or we will see that the funds are being cut, or we will challenge you in the court. Different pressures are being put over the government for their own interest. So this is about the difference between the pressure groups and the interest groups. Now let us come to the functions of the pressure group. Functions क्या है? That function है कि pressure groups generally what is the main thing is that they will bring the demands and the needs of the people in front of decision maker. They are also going to influence the legislative processes like election manifesto, passing of laws, etc. Like BJP generally is influenced by the Hindu religious institutions, and then they came with the building up of Ram Mandir and the other such things. So this is how they influence the legislative process. They influence the election manifesto. They influence the party and the other thing. Third is they are also involved with the process of administration and influence policy implementation. Not only they influence policy making, they also influence policy implementation. So what they will do, they will generally go to the district collector office, or they will go to the SP office, and then they will try to persuade them that this work has to be done by you, and then they will pressurize for their interest. Fourth is that the pressure group approach judiciary to safeguard their interest. They will go, they will reach the judiciary for safeguarding their interest. Next is they will also formulate or consolidate public opinion. In India, we are having a diverse society. People are having different opinion. In a family also, when there are 2-3 brothers, you will see the opinions differs a lot. Similarly, in the country which is as diverse as India, it is very normal to have a lot of opinions of the public. So pressure groups generally they consolidate the public opinion, or sometimes they form the public opinion for their own interest. Next is that they are going to gain public support and sympathies for their goals. They are also going to influence media. They are also going to facilitate social progress. So this is all about the functions of the pressure groups. Now let's come to the problems. The question I have not asked about the problems, but we never know what the examiner is trying to focus. So we will write some of the problems with the pressure groups, because they have the first part was define pressure group. In define, you can even include the shortcomings. Just keep your focus very little over the problems, but try to give few problems to have a very good question. A good question does not mean that you are writing a researched type of a content for the answer. In IAS, you don't need to research on any question. You have to just write the general points. You have to write points in multiple ways, or I can say that you include the multiple or diverse opinions or the diversity of the answer writing. तो उसमें generally one trick क्या होती है that in this question we cannot apply that. You see how that question is related to society, how that question is related to economy, how that question is related to polity, to history, to culture, to environment, to science and tech, to internal security, and then you give the views of from every perspective. If you will see this question, you can only attempt this question with respect to society. So only the polity, society, and ethics. Only three things get similar in this way. You can correlate only the three subjects over here: polity, society, and your ethics. So you could write in that way. So when you are attempting from the ethics perspective, you are also going to criticize the pressure groups. We have written so much about them, so we are going to also criticize something about the pressure groups. So number one, that they are having narrow selfish interest. They will only see their own interest, and they will not see the interest of the India as a whole. Second thing is they generally misuse their power. Third is they are very unstable. Why unstable? Because lack of fund nahi hai. दूसरा, they are unrecognized. They are not recognized thing. They are unrecognized by political party and even by administration. Generally they are unrecognized. Fourth, that sometimes they may take extremist viewpoint and methods, thus hampering democracy, law and order also. Generally this recent Citizenship Amendment Bill saw all these flaws with the pressure groups, that they were trying to do something good, but they were having very extreme viewpoints, very extreme methods of bringing their interest in front of the country. So you can see the problems with the pressure groups. Now let's come to this diagram to understand or to comprehend, to consolidate whatever we have studied about the pressure groups. Now on the one side there are people, the other side there are government. We can say that the pressure group is a link, is a vital link, or is a bridge between the people and the government. How it is a bridge? Like whatever the opinions of the people are, pressure group is going to consolidate them and bring them in front of the government and ask the government to create policies in such way. On the other hand, how in the reverse channel how they work, that whatever policies have been made by the government, they will aware the people about them. Generally people are not aware. Basically in the rural areas, Delhi में सब लोग aware होते हैं. Generally सब लोग aware होते हैं जो IAS की preparation कर रहे हैं. No one except those who are preparing. So how those people will get to know? So pressure groups aware people through different ways that how these are the government policies and other things. They are also going to reshape the public opinions on the government's policies, that if they are favoring it, this thing could be better for India, so they will ask the people to change their opinion or something like that. Now government ko influence is being done on two things. One is policy making, one is policy implementation. Now policy making is a legislative process, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, President. Policy implementation is executive work, that your council of minister headed by the prime minister in the light of is going to aid and advise your president, and then they will see that the policy implementation is done through the permanent executive. Permanent executives are your bureaucrats only. So that is policy making and the policy implementation. So what I have done, that I have given this all this discussion in the conclusion to conclude. So this is how you are going to write an answer. That there should be a good introduction, there should be a good body, and then there should be a good conclusion. Now you have to divide your answer in a very good paragraphs. Your dividing should be very perfect. Generally student asks whether to write in paragraph or points. My personal opinion is write in the mixture of two. Don't be too rigid. Every teacher will give you their own ways of writing an answer. My way is that use both. You write an answer in such a way that it is when even your younger brother or sister, if they read the question and your answer, they could understand, comprehend the topic very easily. That's the way of writing a UPSC answer. So it's better to use a mixture of paragraphs and your bullet points. So I'll conclude over here. Thanks for your patience.